We know that alcohol is part of the college scene. We wanted to ask our HPU student what tips they would give themselves in high school and you as a high school graduating senior prior to attending your first semester. Here is what they said.
The alcohol and all of that peer pressure, because necessarily it's not really in every situation and within every friend group or groups that you hang around with. And it's really important to, I think in my personal experience, I hung out with people that were all on the same page as I was, and there was not really any peer pressure to do things that I was uncomfortable with or that I wasn't familiar with, and to, have to be challenged that way.
It's important to know the effects it can do to you, and that you have to think in the long run. Like, now that you're coming to college, you're meeting all kinds of new people, you're making new friends, and that's great. It's important to have friends to support you here, and it's fun, but you also have to remember when to have safe fun.
Never drink and drive. That's very important. It's always important to have a designated driver.
As the older you get, the more you understand that the partying, the drinking, it's not going anywhere, all right? It's gonna be there forever.
Definitely be smart. Be smart about your decisions, be smart where you're at, know your surroundings, who you're with, why are you there?
There will be instances where it will be given to you, and for people like me, I personally don't like getting into those kind of things, and that is okay to say no.
And I think going to college, because college is a place where people feel more inclined to drink and to party, that it's important to discuss about it earlier, and so I wish people were just open about it. And so I would say that for my high school senior.
The purpose of this presentation was to expose you to the topic of sexual violence and how to be prepared for this very topic prior to arrival at your university. We wanted to ask our HPU students what advice they would give you on this very topic, and here's what they said.
I think it is something that a lot of people have to really accept, because it does happen. It's not just one of those things you see on TV. It's like, oh, that would never happen to me. That would never happen to me or my friends. It does happen. And pretty often, we've seen the statistics, it happens.
I would suggest that when you go out and there's alcohol, when you go to parties, definitely have a buddy system. Or I like to call my triple system, because when you have three, if one goes down, you have two more to look after you.
Never leave your drink unattended. That's very important, because people can be putting all types of drugs into your drink. So even if you leave it alone for 5 seconds, just grab another drink.
To respect one another. That is both mentally, physically, and verbally. If you can do those things, I think you would be safe. I personally would love to be respected, and I would give that back.
To just be aware. I think that's one of the most important things, is be aware and educated on the topic. Know what some signs of it are. It necessarily doesn't have to be physical. It could be verbal or emotional.
I do know that when you're intoxicated, that you're open to many things and you just relax or whatever. You get angry, people react differently. But being a community advisor, I have associated many times people who are drunk and wasted to be involved with Title IX cases or consuming drugs, or just regrets.
Just try to avoid those type of situations. If you guys are both sober, just make sure to show that if you're uncomfortable with something, you can say no. It's okay to say no.
Throughout the presentation, we've given you tips on how to prepare and what to be aware of before your first year in college. But we wanted to ask HPU students if they were to ask their high school self what advice they would give themselves prior to the start of their first semester. Here's what they said.
I would tell myself to enjoy the person that I am now, and to be prepared for lots of change to come the next 4 years and even the years to come after that.
The experience, the whole transition is definitely very overwhelming, but it was in a good way.
As a senior going into college, to really reflect on why you're going to college, because when you're in college, you go through a lot of struggles, especially during midterms and finals, and you kind of lose sight of why you're there in the first place.
I guess if I would have to go back and if I could mentor myself, what I would tell myself is to, as soon as you enter freshman year, just hit the ground running.
My friends and I probably struggled the most with or thinking about. It's like, oh, we're not gonna have any friends, like our friend groups are not gonna be the same, or just scenarios like that. But it's a lie. You will make friends. Just don't worry about it too much. Just be yourself.
Like, press the reset button and be what I wanted to allow other people to see me as, not what I was too afraid of showing when I was back in high school, was what I would tell myself.
Knowing your resources and knowing that people are supporting you and are there for you, and if you do make a mistake, that you're not alone. It's not the end of the world. By nature, we're people of patterns, of habits, and so going to college, everything is new, and new is not always bad. And sometimes we feel that urge to think it's like a scary thing, but I have felt so much of home here at HPU because of the people. And I think paradise is found in people, not the places. And as beautiful as Hawaii is, there are people out there that will support you, academic advisors, teachers, our dean of students. And so that's what ultimately I overcame, like homesickness, because of that, not because of the beaches. It's the people.